Okay, girls, we are now in part 2 of how do digestions begin. So we are now in part of esophagus. Esophagus, it's a muscular tube that connects the mouth going to stomach. But before food goes to the esophagus, there is a part in our mouth, okay, that prevents food going inside the windpipe. What does it mean? Epiglottis, it's a flap of tissue. It's a small tissue that prevents food going to our lungs. There are two tubes here. This pipe is called esophagus. Esophagus is a tube that leads to the stomach. The other pipe here is called the windpipe or the trachea. Trachea is a tube where air passes by going to the lungs. So epiglottis prevents the food to go in the windpipe, because if that happens, we will be choked. The same time, if the chokeness is so difficult, it could lead to death. Okay, now let's go to the next part here. The esophagus is lined with mucus. It's a thick, slippery substance that produced by the body. Mucus makes the food move easily. So that lining is just like a slippery lining inside your esophagus so that food can pass through easily. Okay. Now next, peristalsis, that is the pushing force towards your body. It's the pushing action of your esophagus going to your stomach. We call that pushing force as peristalsis. So, have you tried to swallow your food after chewing it? That pushing force down in your throat is called peristalsis. Okay, try to put your hand in your throat and then swallow. Okay, have you feel that pushing force? We call it in science as peristalsis. Okay, now the next part here is the stomach. The stomach. When food leaves the esophagus, it enters the stomach. Stomach is J-shaped muscles. Okay, why it is called J-shape? The shape of the stomach looks like letter J. Now here, remember that stomach is doing chemical digestion. Okay, mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is completed in the stomach. It occurs as layer of stomach muscles in the stomach wall contract to produce churning motion. The movement in your stomach is called the churning motion. This action mixes the food with the fluid in the stomach. Okay, have you tried your baby brother or baby sister eating food, and have you tried to put your ear beside your stomach? That sound that you hear from the stomach is called the churning. Okay, that is a churning of food. So meaning that is the action of stomach mixing food to the fluid inside the stomach. Yes, there is a fluid inside our stomach. Okay, so let's go back here. What are the fluids inside our stomach? So let's try to imagine this one. Inside our stomach, there are two main fluid that is working together to break food easily. That is the pepsin and then the hydrochloric acid. Pepsin and hydrochloric acid breaks down food until it become a nutrients. At the same time, okay, it also kills the bacteria. So here, if you try to look at this illustration, okay, food goes inside. Hydrochloric acid and pepsin, that is two fluid inside your stomach that helps to break it into nutrients. At the same time, pepsin and hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria inside your stomach. The end part of your stomach is called, okay, this is the end part. It is just the connecting part of this one is called the small intestine. Okay, so this is the end part, and then this tube leads now to small intestine. Okay, when you try to look, girls, in the microscope, the lining of your stomach, it looks like this one. Okay. Now, in question number 4 here, draw an arrow that points to where peristalsis is taking place. Label the label and then answer this question. So this is where peristalsis is happening. That is the pushing force. Next, here it says here, why do stomach muscles run in a different direction? The muscles run in different direction to churn the food, so that the stomach could grind it. Okay, that is how stomach is working. Now, after the mechanical digestion happened, chemical digestion is happening. So here, it says here, this part, mechanical digestion is happening in the stomach. Same also, chemical digestion. Okay, because it breaks down into more smaller pieces of nutrients. Now, let's go back here in this question. Try to look at this chart. The graph shows the result of the experiment that measure the rate of protein of the egg, okay, with the help of pepsin and then the hydrochloric acid inside our stomach. So, the blue one represents the digestion of protein in an egg. Okay? And then the pink one represents the digestion of carbohydrates. Let's try to compare the time protein could break down. And then let's also try to check how do carbohydrates digest in scale of time. So this line will show you the time, and then this is the percentage. Okay? So let's have here 4 hours. After 4 hours, protein from the egg, there are only 20%. After 4 hours of eating the egg, only 20% of digestion happened. After 8 hours, above 20%. And then if you go here, you have almost 100%. So meaning after 24 hours, the egg is still not yet finished breaking down. Imagine that is how long food is digested. But look at here. Okay, the pink one represents the carbohydrates. So after, okay, maybe an hour here, okay, after an hour, look at what will happen. Almost 60% is digested already. And after 12 hours, okay, after 12 hours, carbohydrate is already finished in digestion. Why does it happen? Okay, remember in your mouth, okay, we have a saliva. Saliva helps digesting carbohydrates. Enzyme could only digest. Remember in this picture? Okay. Enzyme is breaking down starch, which is a carbohydrates. Meaning carbohydrates start to break Where? In mouth. Because enzyme, you could find it in saliva, and saliva is in your mouth. Okay? So, carbohydrates started to break down here, while protein only start breaking in your stomach. That's why here in the chart, the digestion time is longer for the protein compared to the carbohydrates. Okay? Carbohydrates, it could break in 12 hours time here. 100% finish in 12 hours. But the protein, after 24 hours, okay, still it didn't reaches the 100% work of digestion of protein. Imagine, that is how long. Okay, let's have here. What all the protein you eat be digested by the time it leaves to the stomach? Explain. Okay, I will repeat the question. Would all the protein you ate be digested by the time it leaves to the stomach? It means once you eat, example, this is an egg, okay, goes to your stomach. It means that it is completely digested. Is it yes or no? Okay, the answer is no. Food only stays in the stomach in a couple of hours. When we are saying complete digestion, okay, meaning it finishes until the process of chemical digestion, meaning it breaks until it becomes a nutrients. In this time, girls, for the carbohydrates, in 12 hours, that carbohydrates, example, the potato, okay, after eating the potato, after 12 hours, it become a nutrients. But example, this egg, after 24 hours, okay, more than 24 hours, it will become a protein. So it takes longer time. It doesn't mean that if the food is here, digestion is finished. No, that is not the end part. Remember, the topic is just the beginning of digestion. Now, here, in number 2, draw a line of the graph that you think you might show the result of experiment of carbohydrate digestion. So, I just explained this one and compare the difference of carbohydrates and protein digestion. So the answer here, carbohydrate digestion starts in the mouth, so it takes lesser time. So I explained already this part. Okay, now this one I will just add about chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is a composition, what I mean, it's a changes in the food that breaks it until it will become a nutrients. At the same time, it breaks large molecule of food into tiny molecules that can be absorbed by our body going to the cell. Okay, in the form of nutrients. Okay, now let's answer this one. Assess your understanding. The enzyme is your body helper to speed up chemical reaction. Without the enzyme, okay, the digestion will be longer. The time will be longer. Compare in contrast. The stomach is similar to a washing machine. Why? Because of the churning of food. Okay, it churns the food with enzyme and the acid like a washing machine churning clothes with the water and soap. That is how our stomach is working. That churning is similar to the rotation of washing machine with the water and then the soap. Okay, girls? So, thank you for listening. I hope you learned a lot today. Let's continue the topic next week. Have a weekend, girls.